Okay. I think we are on. Let me know how I'm doing here, guys. But I think we are on. Let me, where am I going here? I have so many windows open. Hang on a sec. Nope. Nope. That's not it. There we go. That's what I wanted. Can you guys hear me okay? Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. And, we'll take it from there. How you doing, David? Can you hear me okay? There's no echo. I'm always worried that there's going to be an echo because of what happened a few weeks ago. But if there's no echo, then that's awesome. Let me know if there's an echo. Maybe there isn't. Hopefully there's not. Yeah, you're all good. Perfect. Awesome. Okay, great. Great. Hopefully we'll get some more people in here. Let me see if I can do a quick a quick Facebook post, let everybody know I'm live. Actually, you know what? I forgot I already did that. I posted about it earlier. Yeah, okay, we'll see how that goes. Okay, sorry guys, let me get over here. How are you guys doing? How are you guys doing anyway? Hey Tabitha, hey David, hey Josh. Looks like we got, I think 8 people in the room at the moment. I did send out the patron or the link via Patreon, so hopefully everybody got that okay. Do you guys get when I post something via Patreon? I'm still trying to get used to all this. Do you guys get notified via Patreon? Like you get like a an email or a buzz on your phone or something to that effect? Let me know if that's what you guys get. I'm always curious if that's what happens. I think there's a bit of an extra delay right now. Or maybe people are just chilling. Yeah, it comes up as an email. I get the emails from Patreon. Okay. I think Patreon even has there's an app as well for Patreon. And I'm not sure if you have to have, like, if you have to be like you have to have your own Patreon account in terms of being sort of a creator, or if you have the app. Oh, okay, perfect. Okay, great, awesome. Yeah, okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure everybody was getting them and nobody was being left out, because some people. Yeah, because, I mean, we have like 40 people that have signed up for level 3, but over the last couple of weeks, we've been averaging about, I'd say, 12 to 15 people for the episode. So it's a little low than what I would want. I'd want to get more people up. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to get 25 people at a minimum before I started doing this, because I wanted to get more people in there. But, hey, I mean, if, you know, people just, whatever. Some people like to just watch things afterwards as well, which is totally fine. Patrick Thorpe is in the room. Hey, Dave, so glad I was able to make it this time. Yeah, that's great, Patrick. Welcome. Awesome stuff. So, yeah, so I made it's funny, I guess it was a few days ago. I'm definitely on the other end of my cold, but boy, it was a rough week. It was a rough week, just really sort of that kind of thing, right? And earlier in the week, I had mentioned that San Diego Comic-Con was this weekend. And it's not this weekend. It's next weekend. And I know that. I've always known that. I've known it's the 20th to the 23rd. But for some reason, I don't know what it was. For some reason, I just thought it was this weekend. And I made that post to you guys, to Team McRae, a few days ago, but obviously that's not the case. It's next weekend. So yeah. So what did you guys think of the promotional image that was released by Entertainment Weekly yesterday? I did post that on my Facebook. What did you guys think of it? Excuse me. Still dehydrated from my week of not having enough fluids. Oh, you've never been to California? It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah, California's great. California's great. Such a beautiful state. And it's so funny because the population of Canada, right? Like, we are the second largest country in the world in terms of land mass, not in terms of population. We're very small. We have about, I think we're closing in on 40 million people now in terms of the entire country. Well, the whole population of California is like 32 million. It's like pretty much almost the entire population of Canada. It's hilarious. But anyway. Oh, I don't have Facebook. Tabitha doesn't. I thought you had Facebook, Tabitha. For some reason, I thought I saw you posting on Facebook. Oh, anyway. Well, if you Google, can I? Oh, I guess I can't really share that. If you Google only Instagram, okay. Well, Tabitha, if you Google Halloween 2018, you should be able to get the most recent photo of him from EW. It's a promotional shot. You too, David. Google Halloween 2018 or whatever, search engine you guys use, and it should come up. It should come up. Memory Rawls. Oh, yes. Welcome, Stupid Jim Wi-Fi. Just getting to join in. Hope I didn't miss much. No, you haven't missed much. We're just sort of chilling here, kind of waiting for people to show up. But like I said, we've been averaging probably about 10 to 15 people on these episodes. So this could be it, guys. This could be it. But you haven't missed much. Was that the photo with Lori and Allison? Josh Lee says that. No, it was the photo. Was there a photo with Lori and Allison? No, it was. I didn't see that one. If there was, it was a photo with just Michael Myers. It was a promotional shot of Michael Myers, and I like the shot, but I think it's a little too produced. It's a little too lit up for my liking. Now, there are some people that have tried to sort of darken it, and I think they've gone overboard. I think they've gone overboard the other way. I just think it's a little too staged, and his pose with his leg out, it's a little too staged. Not used to seeing Michael in that way, and I get that it's just a promotional image to help sort of, promote the character and the movie, and it's fine. It's nothing. I mean, at the end of the day, it's fine. It's just these are the critiques, and these are sort of the things that I hone in on, right? So it's fine. It's just, if I was the photographer, I would not have made the same creative choices. I would have sort of had some low-key lighting on the left side, his right, our left. Yeah, I just would have done some things differently. But anyway, I just looked it up. Who do you think that is, Dave? Nick or James? I think it's James. I think it's James. Yeah, to be fair, I think it's James. I think we'll know when it's. I think Nick did do some promotional images, because remember back in April, I guess it was, or March, maybe I think it was April. There was that interview with HalloweenDailyNews.com that he did, where he talked about doing some promotional images. So I definitely think we are going to see some with Nick that are going to come out, and I suspect that he's probably going to do some parallels and mirrors of the original promotional images from 1978, looking over the banister at the top of the stairs, all that kind of stuff. I think they're going to sort of have some fun and do that. And I think those will be Nick. Some others might be Nick too. Woo! Some others might be Nick too, but I think that's sort of where we'll get a real sort of, oh yeah, that's definitely Nick. I think the one from yesterday is James. Josh Lee says Jamie Lee Curtis posted a photo on her Instagram of Laurie in 1978 and Allison comparing to. Oh, that one. Oh yeah, no, that that's been circulating. That's been circulating for a while. Some just somebody from the general public sort of took those two images, spliced them together, and I believe Jamie Lee Curtis shared it, which is kind of cool. Yeah, just showing the parallels from the two generations, but that's not an official photo from the production, as far as I know. Yes, exactly. Tabitha says, I don't think I like the promo pic too much. Michael is supposed to be in shadow. Yeah, I agree. I mean, again, it's a promotional image, right? So, I mean, you know, it's not like, it doesn't make or break the movie. It doesn't mean we're going to see him that clearly, you know, in the movie. But I think I'm just a stickler, you know, when it comes to the execution of the character of Michael Myers. I'm a stickler, and I some people may like that, some people may not, but when I look at that image, I'm like, yeah, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it in terms of its exposure, in terms of its, you know, clarity, in terms of the set or whatever. It's a fine image, but there's just creative choices that I would have as the photographer, I would have done a bit different to really sell it, because you're shooting him from a lower angle, so clearly you want to present him in this ominous sort of imposing way. That's fine. And I think the execution would have been better. I think that I think that, you know, that imposing, ominous feel and look would have been better if you'd had some low-key lighting on the left side, our left, his right. And yeah, just kind of, you know, the overall image was a bit more ominous feeling, right? Mask looks great. Love the mask. Love the fact that, like, I totally buy, again, you know, as you've heard me say 1,000 times, I buy that mask could be the same mask 40 years later, right? I totally look at it, I go, yeah, I could buy that. Sure. Yeah, if you're telling me that in the narrative, in the story, this is supposed to be the same mask from that night, I buy it. Sure, yeah, I think they've done a good job. So the mask looks good. If you look at the bottom, too, of that image, there's, look at his feet. For some reason, his feet look like they've been totally photoshopped out, especially his right foot. Your left, our right, his right foot looks like it's been chopped off. And at first I was like, maybe his foot's under the grass, like the grass is blocking it, but I don't think that's the case. I think it wouldn't surprise me if there was a Photoshop boo-boo, or if something, it looks like he's got no feet, literally, which I think is kind of funny. What do we got here? Guillermo is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Great that you could join us, Guillermo. David Ferguson, I hear they are going to show a second trailer at SDCC. Yeah, they could. I think it's a little too early for a second trailer. That would surprise me. It would not surprise me if you get a featurette of some kind. I mean, they could show a trailer, but that will shock me. Because we just got, you know, the other trailer, like 5 weeks ago. So it's not that long ago. To show another one 5-6 weeks later is pretty, that's pretty quick. I could see them showing a featurette, a behind the scenes that we haven't seen before. And now I feel sort of, I don't know if you guys feel this way, but I feel like there's this, you know, yeah, again, I'm a stickler, and now it's kind of like, who cares what they show, really? Like, in terms, I mean, if it's integral to the plot and it's going to spoil something, like they're gonna, you know, show that Jamie Lee Curtis dies, or, you know, Michael dies, you know, whatever the case. Well, obviously, you know, you don't want them to show that. But in terms of Michael Myers, the cat's out of the bag. Like, we know what he looks like now. Like, they're really showing him. They're not afraid to put him front and center. And that's a creative choice, which is fine. I totally get it. But in my opinion, I think he's just too bright. I would have much preferred to see him less bright. You know, that's not grammatically correct, but, you know, just not so exposed. So now it's kind of like, the cat's out of the bag. Like, what, you know, go ahead, show him all you want now. I mean, look at that recent image that was released. It's just, there he is, you know, and there's nothing wrong with how he looks. He looks like Michael Myers. But it's just, I'm one of those people that like to, you know, like when I was doing my fan film there, the night he came back, I didn't show Michael Myers. I had 2 teasers and an official trailer, and I really built it up, and I didn't show Myers in my trailer even till like the third half of the trailer, and it was only the very end of the movie where you kind of saw. I really like playing that, you know. I like building that up and get people, you know, people hyped and excited. But like I said, I understand why they probably decided not to do that and put him front and center, because he's your selling point. And it's not like we don't know what he looks like, but I just would have had more fun with it. I would have had more fun with it. I personally, if I was in the Blumhouse meeting rooms, I would have said, oh, let's not do this yet. Let's not do this yet. You know, let's not show him so clearly yet. You know, we showed the mask, which is great. And then they showed the mask, and then they went into you know, all these promotional shots where we can see him really well, like the ones back around the time that the trailer dropped. So it's just kind of like, it's kind of like, yeah, you know, let's hold it back a bit. You know, people are going to go see it. People are excited. Let's dangle the carrot a bit more. That's what I would have done. So, yeah. But, I mean, it's fine. Like, he looks good. But there's really no more... Like, I really love that build-up and excitement. Well, now we know what he looks like. Clear as day. It's kind of like... And now we got to wait 4 months. You know, it's kind of like, I would have, like... Yeah, I just would have had more fun with it. I would have had more fun with it. Tabitha says, I don't know why they make the mask look like an old man. Masks don't physically age. Well, masks, I hope they make him scary. I think it's not, they do actually physically age, Tabitha, in terms of, I know what you mean though. I know, like, he looks more like an old man. That could have been a creative choice from Christopher Nelson to sort of have that stylistic angle to it. But in terms of the cracks and the creases and the crevices, certainly a latex mask over time would do that. I mean, I've had a couple of latex masks, cheap ones, over the years that, you know, last maybe 5 to 8 years if you're lucky. But if you wear it a lot, too, if you wear it a lot and you're sweating in that thing and the sweat, you know, absorbs into the latex and you're not taking good care of it and you put it in a box and you just store it under your bed or you store it in a, you know, a closet and it's, you know, being smushed by a bunch of papers or, you know, whatever the case is, right? It certainly can age. And my very first Michael Myers mask that I bought in 1995, which was one of those, you know, cheap, doesn't look anything like Myers, but you know it's supposed to be him. That mask I had for probably about 7 or 8 years. And then I went into my cupboard to get it, not to wear it, but just I was like, oh, I forgot I had that, because I was actually going to put it on display. Now this is a number of years ago now, because I thought it was cool that I had all these authentic masks, and then I have my first kind of thing. I open the box and it comes out and it's like flat and it's hard and I'm like, what the? And I'm opening it up and it's like falling apart in my hands. So they certainly can fall apart. And I think that's sort of what they're going for with this new mask, is it's old looking because it's got a lot of cracks and creases, and it's even got some yellowish to it. Like if you look at obviously we haven't been able to see the mask really close up per se from the movie yet. I mean, we see it, you know, in the trailers. But if you look at the Trick or Treat Studios Halloween 2018 mask, what they're supposedly going to produce, there is some yellowing on that mask. So, yeah, it would. I mean, it would fade, it would crack, it would crease. So I actually like the mask. I think it's the best looking mask in terms of honoring the original that we've had since the original. So that's good. I like that, because a mask can make or break it, man. It really can. Now, for me, it's just whether, okay, how is James Courtney and Nick Castle, even Nick, you know, at his age, I want to see them moving through the space now, you know? So, yeah, cool. KC Sportnut 33. I'm back, Dave. Welcome back. I'm glad you're back. So what do you guys think? I want to ask this. What do you guys think they're going to release at Comic-Con next week? Now, it's next Friday, July the 20th at 3:45 p.m. Pacific time. Okay, that's 6:45 p.m. Eastern time. In Hall H, they're going to have that Halloween panel. Jamie Lee Curtis is going to be there. Jason Blum's going to be there. David Gordon Green's going to be there. Maybe even Nick Castle and, James Courtney, perhaps they might be there. What do you think they're going to... Do you think we're going to get a second trailer? Do you think that maybe it's going to be a featurette, like I just said? Do you think it's going to be some more promotional photos? Tommy Gibbons says a new poster for sure. Tommy Gibbons is certain, ladies and gentlemen. He says for sure we're going to get a new poster. We might. Comic-Cons are good spots to drop those things. And we're what, August, September? Yeah, we're 3 months out. Yeah, I could see that. 100%. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not saying that that's what they're going to do, but that wouldn't surprise me. I actually don't think you need another poster. I think the one that they released is fine, but, this is about making money. And the more stylistic, creative posters you can make, the more money you're going to make. So, yeah, that's a good assumption, for sure. Stills would be cool to see. Yeah, I agree, Josh. I want to see, like I said at the top of the video, I want to see... like what Nick Castle talked about in April, how he said, yeah, we were on set and we took some photos that mirrored the ones we took in 1978. I want to see those. Because I want to see Nick Castle doing those, photos, those kind of like recreations of the classic photos or some of the classic photos that he took in 1978. So I would love to see that. I think that would be really cool. In terms of another poster, yeah, I think another poster would be cool. In terms of another trailer, I mean, this is not really a big movie in terms of its scope and narration. I don't know how much more you can show without giving it all away. They show, we have to keep in mind that it's a pretty simplistic story. It's a pretty simple narrative in terms of sequence of events. We can kind of predict how this is going to go. I'm not saying that we can predict everything they're going to do in terms of, creative things to make us go, wow, or holy shit, that was an awesome scene, whatever the case is, right? But in terms of the overall, we kind of know how this is going to play out. So it's not an intertwined, intricate narrative. So how much more can they show? Like, to do another trailer, you would just probably be recutting a lot of the first trailer and adding a few different scenes. Because I mean, what else are they going to show without giving too much away, right? I mean, to show a completely new trailer, they could, but, yeah, I don't know, man. Dave, where'd you get your poster on your door? Well, actually, somebody in the industry who works for a Hollywood studio sent that over to me, so that's where I got it. So that was very nice of him to do that. He's a big fan of the channel, and he likes what I'm doing here, and he sent it over to me. So that was nice. So I had it quickly put in a frame to protect it and popped it on the back of my door there, which I thought was great. It kind of evens out this side of the frame when I'm doing my videos nicely. David Ferguson says, I think they will show a second trailer at San Diego Comic-Con, but they won't release it to the public until August, maybe September, just to keep his fans on their toes. Yeah, I could see them doing that. Yeah, Yeah, I don't know. I think we're definitely going to get some new promotional images and, yeah, maybe a poster and a featurette. I could see a featurette. Like, we've already seen some behind-the-scenes stuff through Entertainment Tonight and, media outlets like that. But it wouldn't surprise me if there was an official featurette. Like, what Lucasfilm, was doing with The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. It wouldn't surprise me if there was, maybe not quite as long, those were like 3.5 minutes, but like a 2-minute maybe, featurette with some interviews of all the cast, right? I could see that. That would be cool. So quick, 10-second, so you have James Jude, right? Well, I'm just honored to play this role, and I'm going to do it justice, and it's just great, to put on the mask. He says that, right? And then they go over to like, Jamie Lee Curtis. Well, it's great to be back, and blah blah blah. And intertwined in that, they're showing these behind the scenes and all that. I could see them releasing something like that. Yeah, I could see that. Aircar 33, the less that we see from this point on, the better. Yeah, I kind of agree. You know, like I just said, I mean, it's not a complicated narrative. It's not a complicated story. You know, it's pretty, like, we pretty much know how this is going to go, in terms of its sequence of events, right, in the execution. So I mean, you don't want to show too much. You're going to show the whole movie. It's not a complicated movie. I mean, think of how many trailers of the original Halloween can you cut? Well, not a lot. I mean, you know, you're going to show everything, right? You know, we've already seen the closet scene. We've already seen the bathroom stall scene. You know, we've already seen him bumping into the kids on the street. We've already seen, you know, like there's a lot. Now, there's a lot I'm sure we haven't seen as well. But that's my point, is that if you cut another trailer, you know, it's not like this deep-seated gangster movie where there's so much going on. The more trailers you cut, the risk you run of showing just too much. Or you're just going to have to recycle the original trailer that you cut with 2 new scenes. And you maybe change the order, you know, and you change up the music. You know, so now it gives this vibe that it's a completely new trailer when it's really not. They do that shit all the time. Will Myers. The first trailer showed enough. Yeah, it did. It showed enough. You know, I've watched the trailer since, and I still stand my ground. I'm not blown away by the trailer. And people think that, well, it means you don't like it. No, it doesn't mean I don't like it. It means I just wasn't blown away by it. There are certain things that I was looking for as a fan that I didn't see in the trailer. But that doesn't mean it's not going to be in the movie, and that doesn't mean the movie's not going to be great. You know, but I wasn't blown away by it. I thought, all right, cool. All right, this looks promising. I want to see more, right? It's fine. There's nothing wrong with the trailer. It's fine. But it's certainly not a incredible trailer. I mean, it's not, you know, it's fine. It did its job. It's modern. It looks modern. It looks like a typical Blumhouse horror movie. Josh Lee, I watch the original and Halloween 2 regularly, the others when I feel like it. Yeah, I haven't watched Halloween 2 in a little bit. I haven't watched the others in a long time. Yeah, when I watch Halloween, I tend to just watch the first 2. I might watch 4, but then if I watch 4, I feel sort of like it just, yeah, I'm just not a fan of the, you know, but like I said, yeah, I mean, you've heard me say this 1,000 times, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it comes down to what you grew up with and where your nostalgic heart lies, right? A lot of people really love H2O because it was their first Halloween movie they saw. It was the first one they saw in the theater. They really like that it, you know, it tied up, you know, the loose ends of Halloween 2, really, even though there were no loose ends. No, that's completely false. There were no loose ends in Halloween 2. Halloween 2 ended complete story. It was done. But they just like the idea that it's a sequel to that movie. And I get it. I totally get it. But for me, I didn't love that. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. And you know the reasons why. But it's okay to like it. It's all right. You know what I mean? But I grew up with the originals, and I see it as a complete story. Even though you really don't even need Halloween 2, I do see that as a complete story because I just think it works better. I'm not a fan. I just didn't find Michael. It's always cool to see him on screen. Even in Halloween 5, it's cool to see him on screen. But he wasn't scary, really. It was just sort of, it became this predictable kind of, you know, Myers in the first one especially, like, scary. It's creepy. Very creepy shit. All right, what do we got? David Ferguson, H3 wasn't bad for a standalone Halloween story. No, you're right, David. You're 100% right. It was fine. I think if Halloween 3 Season of the Witch didn't have Halloween 3 in the title and it was a movie just called Season of the Witch, or, you know, the Season of the Witch, I think it'd be fine. It wouldn't. I don't think it would be a classic horror movie, but it would be one of those horror movies from the 80s, you know, that people remember. That was fine. It was fine, you know. But there's that bad connotation to it because it's Halloween 3, and everyone's like, well, nothing to do with Michael Myers, right? So yeah, I don't think it's a great movie, but I certainly don't think it's as bad as some people make it out to be. Tabitha McCall. Hey, Dave, how many Halloween Well, this, I was going to say I have a closet full of just these. You open my closet and it's just, 150 of just these shirts. No. How many Halloween t-shirts do I own? One, two, three. You've seen me wear them all. There's this one, and then there's the one that I have with Michael Myers on it. And it says, oh, you see this one a lot. Yeah. Well, I tend to wear it for the these shows. But yeah, this there's this one, then there's the one I have with Michael Myers on it, and it's got like a red Halloween logo. You've seen me wear that probably. And then I have one with just Michael Myers' face on it. It's got his face on it, this big face, and on the back of that shirt is this on the back of that shirt. Those are the only three that I have. There's a couple more that I wouldn't mind getting, actually. But I got to sort of space it out, or my entire closet's going to be just pop culture shirts, which is really cool. But then if I want to go somewhere where I'm, I don't look like a nerd, I gotta keep some regular shirts around somewhere. On a separate note, if you don't a few pumpkins out year round, if you don't leave a few pumpkins out year round, then I don't know what's wrong with you. I agree 100%. Do you ever dress up for Halloween as Michael Myers? Well, I used to. Before I lived where I'm living right now, I lived at another location, and I used to set up my garage and do all the lights and the fog machine and Myers and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, oh yeah, it was a lot of fun. Some of those videos are actually on my YouTube channel. If you look them up, they're on my YouTube channel somewhere, but the last one I did was from like 2012, so it's quite a long time ago. But if you look up on my YouTube channel, there's a few videos up there of me doing that. So, but that's at another location. I live in a different spot in Toronto now. And I just don't really do it because there's not a lot of kids in the neighborhood where I am. I mean, there's kids, but not really enough to justify going all out. So yeah, I haven't done it in a while. I mean, decorative pumpkins inside the house. So you mean these? Yeah, these are just for this. I guess I could leave them there, but yeah, that's just for that. Yeah, the fan film. David Ferguson says, "Are you looking forward to seeing the new Halloween fan film that's out on October 1st, The Spirit of Haddonfield?" I am. Yeah, the director, Renee, I believe his name is. I think that's right. We've chatted a few times back and forth via Facebook. He was a big fan of what I've done with my fan films, and he was doing his own, and we chatted back and forth, and I think it looks great. I'm really excited to see this. He may, although nothing's certain yet, he may even give me a screener early so I can watch it and let you guys know my thoughts. But we'll see if he feels comfortable in doing that. I know he might do that for some select people. So I'm very interested in seeing it. Yeah, it looks good. It's going to be about 20 minutes, I guess. And I'm excited on seeing what he's able to do. Because it's always great to see, because it looks like he understands, you can have a movie that's shot really well, and this looks like it's shot well. But it's always great to see people who understand the vibe and the flavor of Halloween. Now, this short film is a sequel to Halloween H2O, which Halloween H2O, I'm not a big fan of, but it takes place in Haddonfield. So it's not like it's taking place in California, right? So he has this, or it's supposed to take place in Haddonfield, right? So there's that Midwest vibe to it. And I love the color palette and the visual aesthetic of the trailer. And yeah, I think there's a lot of promise here. So I'm really excited to see the execution of the visuals and how it's going to play out, the camera work, the cinematography. I love that stuff. And I think Halloween fan films, I think, are getting better and better. They used to be, and for the most part, there are still a lot of really bad ones. But I got a lot of compliments on mine. The Night He Came Back, and then there's this one that's coming out as well that looks really promising. So it's great to see people really sort of stepping it up and trying to make something really special. So yes, I am excited on seeing that, and I may even get to see it a bit early. So we'll see if Renee follows through on that. I think that's his name, right? I think I'm saying that. They also worked on Never Hike Alone, great fan film, but yeah. Well, no. What? To be fair, Renee didn't. Vincent, I think that's his name, right? The director of Never Hike Alone. He's not directing this new film. He's helping to produce it. But I get the impression that Renee is spearheading everything, right? So Vincent does play the Shape. He plays the Shape 100%. But this is a co-produced production. So Womp Stomp Films isn't, totally producing this, right? So, but definitely they have a hand in it. It's like, I just like to sort of give credit where credit is due. This is more Renee than it is the guys from Womp Stomp. Dave, have you watched other Halloween fan films? Tabitha, yes. Oh yeah, for sure. Most Halloween fan films suck. Most Halloween fan films suck. And then there are some that are all right, some that are not bad. And then there's even less that are like really good. Most Halloween fan films, and this isn't a knock, but most Halloween fan films are kids in their backyards, right? They're backyard films, right? You know what I mean? And then there's the select few, which I'm very honored to be a part of, that actually took it seriously and did something. And that doesn't mean there's not things about The Night He Came Back that I wish I could do over. Oh, 100%. There's always things that you look at and you go, I should have done that. I should have cut that short. I should have extended that. You know what I mean? That's just the nature of the business. Yes, I have. And there's a few that are all right, that are not bad. You definitely can tell that they understand and they took it seriously. The one thing that I tried to do with The Night He Came Back was I tried to do my best, because very few fan films of high caliber with Halloween were paying homage to the original. And I wanted to do that with The Night He Came Back, to really give that old school vibe to it. One of the criticisms that The Night He Came Back gets a lot is that, well, it's too much, of the same. It's too much like the... And I'm like, well, yeah, it's a tribute film to the original movie. It's supposed to look and feel like the original film, right? But yeah, I think they suck, yeah. Well, no, it's true. I mean, but again... I say that as a blanket statement to sort of make a point. Obviously, you can go in and say, well, these are 15-year-old kids, so obviously it's not going to be that great. Or these are, 18-year-old kids, obviously it's not going to be that great. And you know what I mean? Like, it's not black and white like that. I just painted a black and white picture to sort of make a point where, yeah, most are not that great, okay? But the spirit of Haddonfield looks really promising, so I'm really excited to see that. Yeah, no problem. No problem. Hey, like I said, there's things in my film that I wish I wish I could do that over. I should have done that. It's always like that. It's always, I'm sure the guys from, Never Hike Alone look at that film and go, you know what? If we could do it again, we should have done that. We should have cut that. We should have extended that. You know what I mean? It's just, it happens, right? Am I the only one that's having loading issues sometimes? Oh, hopefully you guys are being okay. Hopefully it's working okay. I apologize if there's any sort of lag, but we seem to be okay. Ever since I got my new computer, everything is running so smoothly. It's amazing. It's amazing. Samantha Vestal! Thoughts on the Steelbook Blu-ray editions of H2 and H3 from Scream Factory? Yeah, I gotta say, I didn't order mine. I didn't order them, but I gotta say, I really like the artwork. The artwork's great. Like, all that shit's great. The artwork is fantastic, especially on Halloween 2. That artwork is off the chain, as the young kids say today. Maybe even people our age say it. I don't know. But that's a great question. Really like the artwork. I wouldn't mind getting my hands on them. Yeah, I didn't order them because I just I just didn't think to do it. But really like the way the artwork looks. Very well done. And that in and of itself, obviously it's the same movie, but that would be nice to have displayed. That would be cool. Great question, Samantha. I just started getting into this area of Halloween fan stuff like this. Yeah, there's so much. There's so much you could... I try to sort of be... Like, I don't want to turn my entire basement, which is where I am right now, into this, you know, sea of nerdism, even though it's pretty nerdy already. So I try to sort of keep my nerdism at bay and not try to go all out too quickly. And if I see something I want, I go, well, do I really need it? You know, I have 35 of them. You know, I have 35 others. You know, do I really need another character? So, yeah. Tommy Gibbon says, Dave, if you were going to do another fan film besides Halloween, what would you do? I would love to do... The easiest to do would be Friday the 13th in terms of its execution. The hardest to do would be A Nightmare on Elm Street because you have to create a dream world as well as a reality, as well as a world based in reality. So that would be harder to do in terms of its execution. But I've always wanted to do a Friday the 13th fan film because I thought it would be cool to do a Friday the 13th fan film that was really scary. I mean, really, genuinely off the charts scary. And it's Friday the 13th, but it's and I understand that Friday the 13th is a slasher film, and I wouldn't want to take that important element away from it, but really sort of make it scary, where you walk away and you're like, wow, that was intense, that was scary. Kind of like, you know, beginning the opening very similar to my suggestion on one of my Friday the 13th videos I did, I guess a few months ago now, where I gave sort of my idea of an intro to a reboot or a remake of the series. And I still think that they should go back to Pamela Voorhees. I think they should do it. They won't do it, but I think they should. I think that would be fun. That'd be fun. I think, oh man, I'd love that creative challenge to make a Friday the 13th movie with Jason's mom and try to make it appeal to the broader fan base. So people aren't like, no, it doesn't have Jason in it, forget it. Like, I'd love that challenge. So people are like, okay, well, it doesn't have Jason in it, but wow, that was scary. I'd love to do that. Dave, you have to use your Freddy glove in a fan film. Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to do a Freddy fan film. But again, I'm all about authenticity. So I would need, like the costume of Freddy would have to be legit. You know, I'm talking about not the latex masks, but the silicone masks that you see some people on YouTube. Like, they have, oh, it's phenomenal. Like, totally awesome shit. 100%. David Ferguson, a Friday the 13th origin story. Yeah, a little bit. Like, I wouldn't go into sort of an origin story in the ways that you have... You know, it talks about Pamela and Jason as a little boy, and no. Origin in the sense that it's his mom doing the killing again. Yes, I think that would be cool. Yes, 100%. Just scrolling. Sorry, I'm just scrolling back here to see. I've heard about the Instagram. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah, I don't think I am. I've never seen Star Trek and only one movie of Star Wars. Ha! Tabitha! Get out. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, a lot of people, the Star Trek movies and the Star Wars movies. Yeah. Well, this is Thorazine, so we're not going to get into that. So question for you guys. Do you want Laurie Strode to have a finale to her character if Jamie Lee Curtis is not going to come back? Do you want there to be a completion to her character? So in other words, she dies, because that way she won't come back. Or do you want her not to die, but then she never returns again in a future film? So if they do make a sequel to this movie, hypothetically, if they do, and in the last movie, Laurie Strode survived the film, but she's not in this new film, are you okay with that? Or do you want there to be to feel complete? Okay, Laurie is done. She's gone now. Do you know what I mean? Or would it feel kind of like, well, Laurie's gone, Loomis is gone. What is this, right? Is she too integral to the part, to the story? Would you rather Michael died and Laurie survived? Let me know. Well, that's exactly my point. Who would then she? Well, it would obviously be her granddaughter if they could get her back on board, or her daughter, right? But the point I'm making is that do you want her character to have a complete arc in terms of feeling complete, and she's gone, like she dies, so now we don't have to worry about her being, or are you okay with her just, all this shit happening with Michael Myers again, but Laurie is alive, but she's not in the movie, she's off somewhere else? Do you understand what I'm saying? How would you guys feel about that? Because for me, it would seem so weird to have this movie centered around Laurie and her character and how she's fucking ready for Michael Myers, and if he comes back again, she's nowhere to be found? Like, what the hell, right? What do you guys think? Let's see what you guys think. Tommy Gibbons says, pay respect to the character, have her go out in a big way, because honestly, I don't think Jamie Lee Curtis will come back again. Yeah, I agree with that. Eric Carr 33 says she would not have to come back if her character was going to live. She wants Laurie to go out on top, put the character to bed. I agree 100%. Yeah, no, I agree. I'm not suggesting that she definitely is going to die, but I find it so weird that, if you think about it, she's so ready for Michael in this movie, right? I'm ready. And then she goes through hell. Well, if Michael was to come back again and she's nowhere to be around, but her character is alive, well, where's Laurie? She was fighting the good fight before. Why isn't she fighting the good fight now? I'm fucking sick of this. You deal with it. It just seems kind of weird, right? So, yeah, I agree. I do agree. KC Sports Not 33 says, we aren't invested in those other characters, though. I wouldn't want there to be any other Laurie. Well, you're not invested in those other characters yet. We weren't invested in Rey or Poe or Finn before The Force Awakens either. And it was kind of like, who the fuck are these guys? And then after, in my opinion, I only speak for myself, of course, after The Force Awakens, I was like, oh, I really liked Rey, and I really liked Finn, and Poe. And even Kylo Ren. I saw the potential, of, wow, I could really sort of get on to these characters, and then The Last Jedi happened. But anyway. So by the end of this new Halloween film, we could be like, wow, Laurie's granddaughter. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I'm not just talking about her looks. I'm talking about, her character, right? Be like, yes, like I'm invested emotionally in this character. We're not yet because we haven't seen anything, but it's a good point. She should be killed off. Yeah, hopefully not in a Luke kind of way. I find it so strange, if she's not killed. That's why, as much as I didn't like Halloween H2O, it was a good ending in the sense of she chops off his head. Okay, well, how more final can you get than that? He's been shot, he's been blown up, he's been stabbed, but he hasn't had his head chopped off. So it's like, okay, we're going to chop off his head. It felt complete. Again, I didn't like the movie. I wasn't a fan of the portrayal of Myers either. I didn't like the mask. I didn't like the portrayal. There's a lot of shit I don't like about that movie. There's moments that I can find that I like, but overall I wasn't a fan of the movie. But you can't argue that at the end of the movie, it's final. It's, you know what I mean? And it's done. That's it. It's done. And she's like, this sense of empowerment. She's come full circle. She's faced her fear. She's faced her demons. It was a great ending. Great Done. Let it go. I'm not a big fan of the movie, but it's a good end. It gives people a sense of, completion. Well, what are you gonna do? Chop off his head again? I mean, what are you gonna do? It feels so So yeah, Laurie is gonna come full circle to face her fear. She's ready, and then she doesn't show up in the next movie. Yeah, I think killing her off is probably what they're going to do, but how are they gonna kill her off? Is Michael gonna take an axe and Can you imagine? Michael takes an axe and chops off Laurie's head? Oh my God. Oh man, that would be I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying it's shocking. It would be unbelievably shocking. Can you imagine? You're sitting there. Do you know how angry so many people would be? Do you know how angry so many people would be that Laurie gets her head chopped off? Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. I just can't. It's oh man. Do you know? I mean, he's there. There's this scene, right? And you don't see it coming. Laurie is there, and she's like, my God, or whatever, and she's got the knife or the gun, and it's towards, we know that the third act of the movie is, beginning to wrap up, right? There's that feeling. We know there's probably maybe 5-10 minutes left in the movie, right? We get that sense that we're starting to bring this thing home now, right? And we don't see it coming. And Michael just picks up an axe. And he's got an axe. He's like, oh, shit, Michael's got an axe. And he turns around, and he sees Laurie, and he just goes, that would be such, I could see so many people going, whoa, yeah, that's amazing. And so many other people going, what the fuck was that? You just totally disrespected Laurie Strode. It's like chopping off Dr. Loomis's head. It's what? Oh my goodness. I'm going to talk about this in a future video. That's epic. That's fun. Yeah, Dave's been huffing on Thorazine. Well, Thorazine actually would sedate me. Thorazine is to keep me calm. So it's actually the opposite of what you suggest. But no, I just laugh because I'm just sitting here thinking that's one way you could do it. Chop off Laurie's head. Oh my God! Her body just falls to the ground like Pamela Voorhees in Friday the 13th. So you see her hands in the blood. Can you imagine? Holy shit! Amazing. Okay. What do we got here? David Lee Barron says, how did they know to use the thorn symbol in Halloween 5 if they didn't know what it was? Did somebody just randomly doodle it and then decide to use it? No, what probably happened is that they were aware of what it was. They were aware of what it meant. And like I said, Halloween 5's a fucking shit show. And there is quantifiable, measurable evidence that they were making this up as they went along. They were rewriting the script as they were shooting it. I mean, the director is on record as saying, I had no rhyme or reason or direction for this man in black character. I just wanted something mysterious. I'm paraphrasing what he said, but he basically said, I just wanted something mysterious in the movie. I wanted this subplot, this other angle to add this creepy element to it. And whoever makes Halloween 6 can worry about who he or she is and why he or she is, getting off this bus or, whatever the case is. He had no idea. He might have had some idea of maybe where it could, but he didn't express it. I'm just going to throw that in there. It was horrible. So the thorn thing is he probably was aware of the symbolism of it and was just like, you know what? We're going to put this on his wrist because that's kind of, what does that mean? Oh, what is this we're working with here? And he's writing this as he goes and it didn't really go anywhere, right? So yeah, I totally believe that there was that cult angle that he was building, but he just left. He had no idea where he was going or what he was doing. That's why it more than likely appears in 5. It's because he had this idea, but he didn't go anywhere with it, right? So 100%. Well, that's my whole point, Casey Sportsnut 33. Exactly. It's just like, where are you going with this? Like, what's the point of this? Right? Yeah, there's a lot of people that just, you know, or there's a lot of confirmation that it was a not a very good set. It was silly. It was silly. Even Donald Pleasance is on record, I believe, as saying this is rubbish. He used that word. I remember reading about it. Or he might have said that about Halloween 6, actually, which is still true. Tabitha McCauley, I was thinking about getting a Thorn tattoo on my wrist. I'm definitely thinking about a Myers tattoo on my shoulder. Well, that would be cool. Let us see it if and when you decide to do it. That would be awesome. Scrolling back. Eye for an eye or head for a head, Tabitha. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I just laugh. I just think, can you imagine how angry some people... I could totally see some people loving it and some people hating it. Feel like they've just totally, like, disrespected the character of Laurie. I could totally see that. It'd be funny. Tommy Gibbons, H2O was the weakest Myers in my mind. Just not a good Michael at all. Yeah, I just wasn't a fan of it. I just wasn't a fan of his portrayal. I thought he walked too fast, and I didn't like his stature. It just, you know, it's nothing personal to the guy. I'm sure the guy's a nice guy. Chris Durand, is that his name? I think that's his name. She's a nice guy. Just wasn't a fan of because you're always living up to what came before. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? That's how it's supposed to be. When you establish a character, okay, you have to bring the essence of that character. You don't do an impression, but you bring the essence of that character there. That's why I like what I see from James Jude Courtney. You know, he's not necessarily doing a Nick Castle impression of the Shape, but he understands the movements. He understands what Nick did, so he brings that flavor to the character. At least so far, that's what the vibe we're getting from the trailer. Again, we have to see him moving through the space and how the light and shadow and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, he's clearly doing... You know, he's making it his own, but he's got that flavor there, right? So, you know, and I like seeing that. So we'll see how it pans out. We'll see how it pans out. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm excited. I'm excited to see more of what they're going to show. But you guys know me, and I'm going to say this in a video that I'm going to post on my YouTube channel eventually. You know, when the movie finally does come out, I'm going to give you my honest opinion on it. You know, and I'm not going to say I didn't like it for the sake of, you know, saying that. I mean, if I really didn't like it, I'm going to tell you I didn't like it. If I loved it, I'm going to tell you I loved it. I'm going to praise it if I love it. I'm going to not praise it if I don't. But I think there are some people that, you know, expect that this is going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. They're going to go in and they might have some rose-colored glasses on. And I'm going to give you an authentic reaction. And if you agree, great. If you don't, then great. But I think that's fair. I think that's fair. I think there are a lot of people that are going to love it. And I think based on what I'm seeing, which is not a lot, I think this movie will be very good. But you know, Carpenter's score, the music they bring in is going to be really interesting. Very, very interesting. That alone could elevate scenes that you're not crazy on to new levels. I mean, we know how Carpenter's score affected the original, so it's going to be really interesting to see what he comes up with for this new movie. Really interesting. I'm excited. Very, very, very excited. Tabitha says, Dave, are you going to take your girlfriend to the theaters with you to watch 18? Does she like scary movies? Yeah, no, she's not huge on scary movies. She may come with me, though. She may come with me because it's Halloween 2018, right? So she may be like, okay, let's go see Halloween 2. You know what I mean? Because that's an exception, right? But she's not. She likes psychological thrillers. Definitely likes that. But she's not a big overall horror fan. She has a vivid imagination, and sometimes she can, you know, let the if she definitely watches a horror movie with me, definitely she will be sleeping very close to me that night. So But yeah, I could see her. I could see her going. But we'll see. We'll see. It all depends on the mood she's in, I guess. Good question though. David Lee Barron says, if they are going back to the roots of the original Halloween, why are they deliberately showing Michael Myers in broad daylight? Well, these are just promotional images. Broad daylight is a term. Obviously, they haven't showed him. Well, I guess there was that scene with him putting on the mask in the trailer that looked like it was shot during the day. But I don't know. I don't know the answer for that. I can only speculate, but I can certainly say it probably has to do with they are very confident in the way Michael Myers looks. So they want to get ahead of the game, and they want to just kind of put him out there for everybody to see. Hey, this is your 2018 Michael Myers. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a creative choice I wouldn't have made. I would have dangled the carrot more, and if I did show him, I would have had low-key lighting with some, I don't mean like not see him at all, I don't mean that, but just sort of lower key lighting. We're kind of seeing glimpses of him, and then if there is a promotional image that I release, it's very moody and atmospheric. The one they released yesterday, I'm not a big fan of. Michael looks great. Like, Michael looks fine. There's nothing wrong with him. But the overall visual aesthetic of the photo, I'm not crazy on. It looks too produced, too polished. And it is a promotional image. And by and large, promotional images can look overly produced and staged, right? I mean, they can. And this looks staged. We're just not used to seeing Michael Myers in a staged environment, right? We're usually used to seeing him in sort of a low-key lighting, right, with some shadow, and it's very sort of, and his leg is out, right? In the image, his leg's out, he's got his knife, and it just looks a little staged. I'm not a big fan of it. I wouldn't have made the same choices, but there's nothing wrong with the image of him. He looks great. But yeah, I don't think I would have done the same thing. I would have, like I said to you, for those that missed it at the beginning of the broadcast, I said I would have had some low-key lighting. So I would have had the right side of him, our left, more in shadow and dimly lit. Not to the point where you can't see anything, but just play on the light and shadow more. Play on the essence of that character, of the shape, right? That's what I would have done. So yeah, I mean, why they haven't so much? Just, I guess, because they're really confident in their shape and they want you to see them, David Ferguson says, here's a bizarre question, Dave. If you were asked to star in a legit canon Halloween film and you had to play one of Michael's victims, how would you like the shape to kill off your character? Ooh, I think I would like him to choke me, because choking me gives me more screen time. I think if I'm stabbed or my head's, cut off, then it's one and done very quick, and that's kind of the end of me. But Bob, there was a lot of choking going on in the original Halloween. Bob was choked, Annie was choked, Linda was choked. He does a lot of choking. That was one of the things that people said about my fan film. Well, you choked a lot in your fan film. Michael choked a lot in the original film. But that could be taken a totally different way. But anyway, if you're choked, your death tends to be on screen a bit longer rather than being shot or not that he would shoot anybody, but I'm just talking about in terms of deaths, right? If you're really, if you're shot or you're stabbed or you fall, it's very fast. But if you're choked, you tend to be there. And I would like to struggle, right? So he's got me by the neck and I'm like, I'm trying to kind of fight back like Bob did. You know what I mean? It's a good, I could be on screen dying for 30 seconds, So that's how I'd like to go out. How, where, what Michael is using to choke me, I have no idea. I'd have to think about that. Good question, though. Sounds like you've thought your kill scene, Dave. Nice. No, I haven't actually. That was the first thing that popped into my head. I guess when you sort of, I think it comes from just experience of shooting films and knowing death scenes and stuff, and that it just instantly came to my mind that, a choking scene, you'd be on screen. That's funny though. Yeah. Oh, you're asking nice guys. I've never been to Chicago. I've never been to Chicago either. So are any of you guys, there's 12 people watching, are any of you in the room here, are any of you going to the 40th convention this October in Pasadena, California? Are any of you going? Or thinking about going? Or want to go? I believe it's October 12th to 14th, I believe, at the Pasadena Convention Center in Pasadena, California. This man right here, Tommy Gibbons. So you are going. Josh Lee says, nah, probably not. David Lee Barron says, did you like the character of Bud in H2 Night? Who doesn't like Bud? Amazing grace, come sit on my face. Who doesn't like Bud? Bud got choked. There's a lot of choking going on in the first two Halloween movies. I love when Bud gets choked and you just see his silhouette and he's going... and just kind of falls. It's like he just instantly becomes dead. I love it. He's like... and then falls to the ground. It's funny. But I don't mean funny and I don't like the movie. I just mean, it's dated. It's 1981, right? It's just funny. I love it. It's great. It's a great scene. That whole scene with him in the therapeutic tub and all that kind of, I was going to say hot tub, which I guess it kind of is, but it's for therapy. It's not just for chilling, although that's what they were doing. KC Sportsnut 33 says, can't go. Will Meyer says, I would love to go. Tommy Gibbons, as soon as tickets are available, I'm getting them. That's awesome. Tommy, where are you located? Are you close to California? Are you in California? Ohio. Oh, okay. So that's going to be, you're going to get your plane ticket and you're going to head down there. That's awesome. I will let you guys know. There's no confirmation yet, but it's entirely possible I might be going. So I will make an official announcement on my YouTube page if and when things are looking good. Things are looking good. I'm going to be in Los Angeles in and around that time doing some voiceover work. So it's entirely possible that I might be able to make the convention as well. So you guys are the first to know that. But I will make an official announcement on my channel when I know 100% for sure. Tabitha McCauley, does someone have a spare ticket for me? Yeah, I might be able to find them on eBay or Craigslist. No, don't trust that. That'd be awful. Yeah, October 12th to the 14th at the Pasadena Convention Center in Pasadena, California. And for those of you who have not been out to California or Los Angeles and Hollywood, Pasadena is like it's just a suburb of Hollywood and LA, right? There's Los Angeles and then there's Hollywood, which is a bit north, and then there's Pasadena, which is just a bit west. So it's all in the same area. David Lee Barron, I heard that there's a second killer in the new Halloween movie. Is this just rumors? I believe it is just rumors. I think people they're looking at that scene in the trailer where we have Nick Castle, and it's been confirmed that it's Nick Castle as the Shape, in the window before Laurie shoots the mirror, right? If you look closely at the other window to the left, it's lit up with some bluish kind of lighting, and there's clearly an image or a shape in that window as well. And I think people are like, oh, is that another killer? No, it's probably just the sheriff who's gone into the home, and Laurie sees the sheriff in the home and then looks over and sees Michael in the other window and is like, oh shit, right? And takes out her. It's probably something to that effect. I don't think there's going to be a copycat killer in this new movie. I think that will be sort of, I think that extends sort of this, because now you have this subplot. I think it's possible that, I think there was something, no, that was Halloween H2O. Halloween H2O, they were going to do that. They were going to have this subplot of this copycat killer, and it was actually going to be the nerdy guy from, he was a kid in Jumanji, the main kid in Jumanji from 1995, who was that nerdy guy in Halloween H2O. I believe he was actually cast to be the copycat killer, and then they removed that element about his character, but kept his character in the movie as just this regular guy. So yes, it was Halloween H2O. The original script and the original idea was called for a copycat killer, and they got rid of it. I don't think this movie ever had that. So no, I don't believe there's going to be 2 killers. It's possible that things may happen that people aren't convinced that it's Michael Myers, and they're convinced that maybe it's somebody else at play, and Laurie Strode is, no, it's fucking Michael Myers. He escaped from that bus accident and blah, 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 blah. And even the people of Haddonfield might be like, Laurie, you know, they might be really skeptical on that. That's possible. But actually having a subplot where there's this copycat killer, no, I don't think they're going to do that. As if the movie wasn't bad enough. Yeah, exactly. And again, I get why people like it. And there's certain, I can find some redeeming qualities. There's certain moments in Halloween H2O that I like, oh, that was a good shot. That was a nice moment. I can always, even in Halloween 5, there are things where I'm like, oh, that's a nice shot. That's a nice moment. You know, I like that angle or the lighting in this scene. Yeah, for sure. But I just can't find anything else to like. What's KC? Kansas City? Yeah, I believe so. Kansas City is, or KC is Kansas City. So yeah, so that's too bad. Some of you guys won't be able to make it, but it's completely understandable. I mean, you know, you got to think of your airfare there and back, right? You got to think of accommodations. You got to think of, you know, the price of admission, all that kind of stuff. It's certainly not an inexpensive trip, so it's totally understandable. Okay, we'll go for another 15 minutes because I like to keep these Thorazine episodes to about 90 minutes. I think that's a good length. And then I will keep you guys posted what I'm thinking of doing. I'll let you guys know at the beginning of the week. The next episode of Thorazine we might do on next Saturday, because next Friday is when they're having the Halloween panel for Comic-Con. So it might be really interesting to have either Thorazine on the Saturday or the Sunday. But I'll let you know. It's either going to be next Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern, or maybe next Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern as well, because it would be really great to sort of get your guys' thoughts on whatever they release or show next Friday at Comic-Con. But Friday night, depending on what happens, I might be doing a video as well to upload to my channel. So I'll let you guys know for sure when the next one will be. But I'm thinking it might be next weekend. It might be next weekend, either Saturday at 11 a.m. or Sunday at 11 a.m. because of the potential news that might drop in regards to the Halloween film. So mark your calendars for next weekend. But I'll let you guys know as soon as I can. I love how you guys are chatting. David Ferguson, I would love to go, but living in Glasgow, Scotland, yeah, that would be 100%. Totally understand. Yeah, that's a heck of a trip, David. A heck of a trip. I've never been over there to Scotland myself. My mother was born in England. She was born in England. She's since passed. She passed in 2011, but she came to Canada in 1956 when she was 12. So I've never actually been overseas. I would love to go. I have an uncle who lives close to Rome in Italy, my mom's brother. So I would love to go. I do have family over there, and I still have family in England. So I'd love to go, but I just have never made it over there yet. So I totally understand if you can't make it over this way. It can be expensive for a lot of people. And that would be a heck of a trip, because you would have to travel from Europe to Canada or to the US that would be a flight. That's like a 5-6 hour flight. Then you'd have to fly across the states. It's like a 10-11 hour flight. Yeah, it's crazy. Maybe even a bit longer. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see who's going to be at this 40th year anniversary convention, because as far as I know, they're celebrating everything Halloween, right? So it's the 40th anniversary of the original from 1978. They have a new movie dropping just a week later after the convention, but the convention is not just celebrating Halloween 1978, and it's not just celebrating this new movie that's going to drop a week later. It's celebrating all things Halloween. So apparently, according to the website, they're going to have, you know, directors, writers, actors, everybody from all 11 Halloween movies there. Now, who they're going to have there and how many of them are going to be there, we don't know. But yeah, so that tells me that, you know, Halloween, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Rob Zombie's films. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting. Tab on the McCullough, Dave, you should go live at SDCC. Yeah, I would if I was going to be down there, but SDCC is next week and I'm not going to be in LA. So I'm going to be here in Toronto. But it's possible that I might be able to make the convention, because I will be in LA in and around that time. So we'll see how it works. But I will keep you guys posted, and it's going to be great too, because it's great that you guys are patrons. Because obviously, if I do go to the convention, I'll be posting on my regular forums as well, obviously. But there will be some exclusive stuff that I'll just show you guys. So so that'll be a lot of fun. Anytime you want to visit Glasgow, Dave, I would like to take you around the city. I will let you know. If I'm ever in Glasgow, Scotland, I will let you know. Tommy Gibbons, do you think Carpenter will be there? Well, that's really interesting, right? We know that Jamie Lee Curtis said way back in 2012 or 2013, whatever that convention was that Sean Clark helped to spearhead and get her to come to. I remember her say she had never been to a convention before. She'd never been to a Halloween convention, and she came to that Halloween convention. I think you guys know the one I'm talking about. And I remember her saying that this will be my one and only appearance at these things. Well, you know, famous last words, right? Money, 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 money. But anyway, so she's appearing at San Diego Comic-Con, right? But I am sure that was also factored into her contract because she's helping to sell the new movie, right? And she's a big part of that. So there's no doubt that she's contractually obligated to appear at San Diego Comic-Con. And when we get closer to the release of Halloween 2018 on October the 19th, you can be sure that she's going to be making the rounds on a few of the talk shows, right? Because she's contractually obligated to do that. But it will be interesting to see if she shows up at the 40th anniversary convention, because it's like, well, it makes sense. It's the 40th anniversary convention to the movie that, you know, put you on the path to success. There's a new movie that is a sequel to that movie that you starred in, or that you're, no, that you're going, that you, let me try that again. There's a sequel to that new movie that put you on the path to success that you're starring in. That's what I was trying to say. Why wouldn't you be at this convention, right? John Carpenter, yeah, I mean, it makes sense for him to be there, right? I will tell you this. I will be surprised if Jamie Lee Curtis and John Carpenter are not at that convention. That doesn't mean they have to be at the convention every single day, right? Because it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday thing. I don't expect them to be there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but I would be surprised if they are not there one of the 3 days. That will surprise me. Like, you can't, I mean, first of all, John Carpenter lives like down the street. I don't think he lives in Pasadena, but he lives in Hollywood, right? He can't make the trek over for, you know, a few hours. You know what I mean? So, and Jamie Lee, I'm pretty sure, lives in LA as well. So that was, I will admit, that will surprise me if they're not there. Yeah, because I think they should be there. If you're going to attend, if you're only going, I mean, if you're actually going to attend a convention, this is the convention that you want to attend, right? So we'll see what happens, though. We'll see what happens. I need a passport, says Tabitha McCauley. Oh, you do, to travel out of the country? Yeah, for sure. I wish John Carpenter would come to Michigan. Yeah. Oh, you're in Michigan. Cool. Michigan's not too far from Ontario, which is where I am, right, in Canada. Yeah, John Carpenter. Yeah, he's getting up there now. He's 70, I think, and you know, he doesn't attend a lot of conventions. Nick Castle does, though. Nick Castle attends everything, and that's awesome. Robert Englund attends a shitload of conventions. So, yeah. Yes, I was too. Yeah, a couple years ago here at Fan Expo in Toronto, I met Nick Castle. Such a nice guy. Isn't he such a sweetheart? He's so nice, so personable, so down to earth. Such a nice guy. Oh, you were in Toronto. Well, hey, very interesting. Maybe you were at you must have been at Fan Expo as well. You must have drove up to Toronto. Maybe we were standing beside each other and didn't know it, Tabitha. Entirely possible. Entirely possible. Yeah, he's such a nice guy. Very down to earth. I remember him. I pulled him aside and I showed him a clip of a fan film I had done, and he thought it was awesome. He was like, "This is great." He's like, "I didn't even know there were such things as Halloween fan films." And why would he, right? And he looked at it, he was like, "This is awesome." Yeah, great stuff. Really nice guy. Tommy Gibbons, you think Carpenter will ever direct another movie? No, I don't think so. Maybe if Blumhouse butters him up, I could see Blumhouse. I could totally see that. If they nurture a relationship with John, you have to nurture it with John. John's not a stupid guy. He gets a lot of flack for being sort of a, disgruntled kind of, but he's got good reasons for some of the things that piss him off. And he's not a stupid guy. He's a very smart man. And I think if Blumhouse was to nurture the relationship they have with him right now, I think it's entirely possible they could get him out of retirement, which is pretty much what he's in. I don't think he's officially said that, but he's not doing too much. With something simple. If they had a simple story, a simple narrative, something that wasn't overly complicated, low budget, $5 million maybe, maybe 10 mil, nothing crazy, but a creepy story that is right along the lines of Carpenter. I could see him doing it, really simple, right? Doesn't have to do a lot of thinking, can go home at night, play Xbox, whatever he needs to do to help keep himself sane. I could see it. But it all comes down to nurturing that relationship. Because if John Carpenter, I get the impression that if Carpenter feels something is overly complicated and it's just, no, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with the bullshit. I don't want to deal with the politics. And yeah, but if they could nurture that relationship, given something small, something simple, maybe. But it wouldn't surprise me if he didn't, because wouldn't surprise me. Tommy Gibbons, I like H4 ending. Halloween 4's ending was fantastic. And like I said, they should have gone with that. I don't mean make Jamie the killer, but they should have taken that and the beginning of the movie open with whether or not she's a threat. They should have waited 2 or 3 years. So Jamie is now like 14 in a child sort of juvenile institution. And they really sort of, it looks like they're very concerned of the potentiality of the danger that might lie with Jamie Lloyd. But then, of course, weird things begin to happen that they start to sort of blame her for. People go missing, there's a death, things like that. But Loomis is convinced that it's actually Myers. The doctors are convinced that it's Jamie, but Loomis is convinced that it's Myers that has come back. And like if they had done that and taken that route, and it all takes place in like this mental institution and things like that, there's so much potential they could have done. Yeah, they blew it. To bring in this cult and this Thorn and to have her as a mute and to kill off Rachel, and because Rachel is there, and Rachel is convinced as well that it's not Jamie doing these weird things, and you nurture that relationship with Rachel and Jamie, and she becomes kind of like, and Loomis is skeptical at first that it's not Jamie, but then he starts to listen to Rachel, and they become like this team to try and convince everybody that Michael is back, but nobody sees him yet, and it's just like, yeah, that's a Halloween 5 I would have loved to have seen. But they didn't do that. Okay, we'll go for another 5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. 5 minutes. I appreciate everybody who tuned in to episode 3 of Thorazine. It's always great that we can do this, a couple of times a month, talk nothing but Halloween, and share ideas and go back and forth. I think you guys are awesome. So this is always fun. The beginning of H5 was great, explaining how he survived the fall down the mine shaft. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, David. It certainly works that he, came into the river, but then all of a sudden he's with this hermit, and he was asleep for 5 years, 5 years, for a year, and then he just wakes up on Halloween night. That's just like, how did he eat? How did he piss? How did he take a shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, no, he's supernatural. That's where it gets stupid for me. That's why it's this is stupid. This is dumb. This is dumb. This is dumb. It's dumb. This is dumb. At least with being locked up for 40 years, you can be like, okay, well, they fed him. He went to the bathroom. He shaved. I know we don't want to think about those things because he's the boogeyman, which is why there was never supposed to be anything after Halloween 1 anyway, and we can have that whole fucking rabbit hole that's just going to get bigger. But I don't really think there needs to be an explanation how he survived the mine shaft. I understand what you're saying. But Halloween 5 could have begun with they just assume that he's buried in there. And then he's back all of a sudden. You start to see him. It's like, is that him over there? Or no, it's not. Or, it's like, what the fuck is going on? People begin to disappear. There's murders. It's like we have a murderer on the loose in Haddonfield, and everybody thinks it's Jamie, or thinks she's the causing it, or she's bad luck, or there's somebody else. They're not convinced that it's Myers, but it actually is. And there's that slow burn and build up to his reveal. Like, it could have been so much better. So much better. David Lee Barron, Michael Myers became supernatural in Halloween 5, not Halloween 4, yes? You could say that. Yes, there's nothing in Halloween 4 that Michael Myers does that you can absolutely, unequivocally say this is inhumanly possible. But when we start getting to Halloween 5 and him being asleep for a year, I mean, and then he's woken up because it's Halloween night and this is cursed. Yeah, that definitely is the beginning of really playing up the supernatural angle. Yes, Halloween 5 definitely is like, okay, well, if you didn't think he was supernatural before, okay, how's this for you? That's essentially what Halloween 5 does. Right? It's kind of like, hey, if you didn't think he was supernatural, okay, we're going to play this up big time. And then they take it to another level in Halloween 6, and then they're like, this is getting corny and cheesy. Let's pretend none of these movies happened, and we'll just do But even Halloween H2O never explains how he survived the fire. They never did find his body. It's a throwaway line. They never did find his body. And it's just like, oh, okay, but then why wasn't his hands burned? How come he can see? Right? How come he can see? It's just all these little things that are just kind of like, that's why there's so many holes and, I don't know. It's just fucking thing. Anyways, folks, my name's Dave McRae. I'm going to wrap it up there for now. I appreciate all of you. I think I just spat there. I need more water. That's what happens when you talk for an hour and a half nonstop. I appreciate everybody who tuned in. We'll try and get more people into the chat because like I said at the beginning of the broadcast, there are 40 people that have signed up for level number 3, but we only average about 10 to 15 every show. So now that could be because people are just not available. It could be because people don't really like to tune into live streams and they would rather watch it afterwards. But hopefully we can get this number up to 20, maybe 25. That would be my goal, because obviously that was my goal initially. So hopefully we'll get some more people on board, but we'll see how it pans out. But nonetheless, I love talking to you guys about this, so I'm glad you you tuned in. Have a great rest of your weekend too, Tabitha, and everybody as well. Have a safe weekend, and I will keep you guys posted on when the next episode will be. It's entirely possible it could be next weekend, not necessarily Saturday at 11 a.m., although that's possible. It all depends on what happens at the Comic-Con and my schedule and what I think I'm going to need some time aside for to do some videos potentially about what's released at the Comic-Con on Friday. So I will keep you guys posted, but I appreciate you tuning in, and in the meantime and in between time, I will talk to you guys soon. And yeah, so let me get ready to turn this off here. I promise I'll do a better job on getting this more ready. Okay. All right, a little more polished. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. I'll have another video hopefully the next couple of days. We'll see how it pans out. Stay safe. Have a great long week. Have a great long weekend. Have a great rest of your weekend, guys.